Welcome to This Week in Crowder College, an in-depth look into how Crowder College students, faculty, and staff are working together so students soar to new heights, communities are impacted, and lives are changed. This Week in Crowder College is sponsored by the law offices of Wood and Peterson in Neosho, specializing in workers' compensation, personal injury, Social Security disability, and more. Learn more online at neoshoattorney.com. Now here's this week's edition of This Week in Crowder College.
Welcome to a brand new week of This Week in Crowder College right here on 91.7 FM. Adam Winkler here with you. Privileged to be joined by Jake Holt. He is the head men's and women's cross country coach out there at Crowder College. And Jake, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Well, for those of us who are cross-country junkies, this is our favorite time of year as cross-country season is underway. And just let us know when the kids got on campus and how preseason practice has gone for you guys so far.
Well, the kids officially started moving in on August 4th, so we could get a little bit of a head start on the season. Fortunately, all but 2 of them were able to be counselors at our running camp that we had this summer. So we had about 18 of them that came to SWMO running camp and served as counselors in July. So they got to know each other at that point and really started forming a lot of those bonds that are necessary for the team atmosphere that we're trying to create, that family dynamic that we want. August 4th, first day, move in. Then we did a long run Saturday morning. And then officially our practices started on August 7th.
Well, cross country, the ultimate team sport, but also a lot of individual pressure as well. And these kids throughout the summer months, I mean, they're pounding the pavement at 6 a.m. in the morning. It could be 7 p.m. at night, depending on their work schedules and everything else they have to do. But you have to really be internally motivated to be a cross country runner. Yeah,
for sure. This summer, we during the recruiting process, we talked a lot about what was going to be expected of the kids, even over the summer. And so every individual was given their own weekly mileage progression. And some of them were fairly conservative at the beginning, but the returners and those that were used to high mileage programs like the West Plains kids that we've recruited, they were started out, at pretty good mileage. And so we had the boys hit 100% or more of their mileage for the entire summer, which bodes really well for your team. And the girls did a really good job as well. But a lot of the boys hit between 600 and 800 miles this summer. And we had some girls that hit around 500 miles for their summer running. And that's a great base coming into the season. So we're way ahead of where we were last year when the kids didn't really understand what they were getting into as incoming freshmen. But yeah, truly 6 a.m. runs. Some of them do work and have to be at work earlier than that. So we did have some kids that were having to get runs in at 8 p.m. and different times like that. So it does take a lot of commitment, more so than people might realize. You miss out on a lot of things that go on at night because you have to get up at 5 a.m. So when your friends are wanting to go do fun things, you're like, no, I've got to get to sleep, and then diet and everything else that goes into it. You have to watch what you eat, when you eat. You have to be very careful what you eat leading up to a practice or a workout, or it can be devastating in the end.
Well, I was going to ask you the difference between year 1 and year 2, just for the program in general. This is your second year with the cross-country program. Last year was year 1. And what difference have you noticed just overall for the program?
Well, like anything in its infancy, it's difficult to get something started. A new program, a lot of unknowns. We also had the program approved really late, so we missed that, October, November, December recruiting period when a lot of people are making decisions. So the athletes that we got for last year, we didn't even start recruiting until January. So we got some kids that a lot of people hadn't looked at, but they, most of them end up doing a really good job for us. But this year, second year, we have those returners that they know what happened to them, in week 2 of last year when they didn't do their homework over the summer. I think they had those conversations with our incoming freshmen and let them know, like, hey, you have to do this if you want to find success. But then also we've been able to start our recruiting a lot earlier, obviously with year 2. We had a lot of people on campus. We've signed some really good athletes and just some incredible people as well, just with great mindsets. Everybody on the team, all 20 of them want to be there. They're all working hard, and both men and women, they've really come together as a group. This is this is a true team that we've built. And I think that's the biggest difference between this year and last year. Just this group seems to be a lot tighter.
We're speaking with Jake Holt. He is the head cross-country coach out there at Crowder College. And, Coach, as we look at your early season schedule, a lot of fun meets you guys get to participate in. You guys go to Memphis on September the 2nd. That's followed up by the Southern Stampede, which is just a great event. If people here in the area have never watched a cross-country race, I encourage you to go out and watch the Southern Stampede. And then you guys got the Chili Pepper Run down in Arkansas a little bit later on after that. So a lot of great competition coming up for your team.
Yeah, I mean, we're a junior college, but we don't really care if people want to call us a junior college or not. We're going to run against the Division I's and Division II's. Obviously, they have tremendous advantages over what we're able to do. But we have some kids that have already been recruited by D1 and D2 schools. We had at least one young man that got offered pretty much a full ride from a Division II school. We were able to keep him just because he was very satisfied with his training. He dropped from a 441 high school miler down to a 401 1500 guy in 1 year. We had another kid that went from a 207 800 guy all the way down to a 154 in 1 year. And, those kind of athletes are coveted by, the Division II schools. But we'll run against all the big dogs as well, just trying to, make it to where we go to the national meet. We've already seen really good competition. We're going to go to the Memphis Twilight Meet. That's something we'll probably try to do about every other year. It's a really unique event because it's run under the lights. The girls will run at 9:20 at night and the guys run at 10 p.m. Very unique race. Missouri Southern obviously is an incredible event with thousands of athletes and spectators. Chili Pepper, again, an event that gives back to Northwest Arkansas cross-country high schools. Just an incredibly huge event put on by the University of Arkansas people. Then we'll go to the fire starter event over at Allen County. We'll have a regional meet, which has been moved to state fair up in Sedalia. And then our national meet this year is in Huntsville, Alabama, which is going to be run on the course called the Running Lanes, which is touted as the fastest course in the nation. So we've got some fun events coming up, and we're really excited about the kids' progress as the season goes on.
Well, I love your attitude, and that's the great thing about cross country or even track and field. You can run against anybody. You can go up against the best Division I athlete, and your kids won't back down, and they're not scared of that. And that's one of the great opportunities I think that runners have over other sports, because you can compete even if you're a junior college and NAIA school. You can compete against Division II and Division I athletes and show those other schools that you're just as good.
Yeah, for sure. And, year two, we're going to slowly continue building this tradition, laying the foundation for years to come. Last year the girls were 18th in the nation in year one, and the boys were 22nd in the nation. And we have goals of, breaking into the top 10. And hopefully eventually we'll put Crowder on the map as a cross-country and running school. That's our goal long term.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time on This Week in Crowder College. Best wishes to you guys as you guys get the season going on September the 2nd. Keep up the great work. We'll be looking forward to hearing great things from your cross-country programs.
Thank you very much for having us on.
Thank you for listening to This Week in Crowder College. This Week in Crowder College is sponsored by the law offices of Wood and Peterson in Neosho. You can listen to this broadcast again by going online to kneo.org or to crowder.edu. Tune in once again next week for another edition of This Week in Crowder College on KNEO 91.7 FM.
If you live within the broadcast area of KNEO Radio, we have a podcast just for you. The KNEO Community Connection keeps your finger on the pulse of what's coming up in the four-state area, telling you about upcoming events you don't want to miss, organizations in our communities doing great work, and conversations with the dynamic citizens who are behind it all. There's a lot going on around you that you don't want to miss. This is Luke Taylor. Join me each week as we talk about what's happening with the people who are making it happen. Brought to you by KNEO Radio 91.7 FM and the Sky High Podcast Network. Subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts.